Hello folks, hello YouTube. This is about bringing the Thunderbird back and the TPP and the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Well, Mark Fields, I heard some stories about creating jobs in the United States. That's great. That is awesome. I like the Ford Mustang, and that's one of my favorite cars from that company. But now on, it is thing is that like I'm in a page called Bring Back the Thunderbird in Facebook, and everybody has agreed that from Dearborn, Michigan, and now you with this Trans-Pacific Partnership, that means bringing back the Thunderbird is like, well, a Fiat has made is gonna be the sibling of this new Thunderbird. Have you seen this Thunderbird right there for 2018? Then I mean, this is just one case of scenario. You're saying about shifting production of the Ford Focus and the C-Max to Mexico to make room for the Ford Ranger and the Bronco. Bringing back the Bronco. At least they're going to be made here. The only exception, like everything else, I can remember when one product to be made in the Pacific Rim was, as you said, you have, globally, you're gonna create jobs globally. But as what it is, this Trans-Pacific Treaty, this free trade agreement between Vietnam, Australia, Singapore, and Chile, and those that also includes Japan. Well, that's it, Japan. What else do you have in there for Mark Fields, and then you are the new CEO the CEO of the Ford Motor Company right now? The thing is, like, I can remember the people used to buy the Converse All-Star sneakers. They used to be made in the United States. Since then, and has the economy, or well, through that they keep selling, but they are made in the Pacific Rim now. Same thing is going to happen with the Thunderbird. The last American made Thunderbird was made in 2005. Now for this year, 20 for 2018 is going to be made in the Pacific Rim also. The only difference is that it's going to be made in Japan. You know, and that is the only exception of a Ford car being made overseas. I mean, being made outside North America, and it will be the first Thunderbird to be built outside North America and made outside North America to be sold here in the United States, and then it will be exported. Maybe it will be sold in its home country where they make it in Japan, because it's also related to the Mazda Miata, a two-seater. It's like it is a two-seater, and then like I have seen that for you, Fields, Mr. Mark Fields, if you're hearing this, you have Ford has like 2.1% of ownership of Mazda. That means that 2.1% ownership of Mazda making a Fiat Spider. That means that the factory will be in Hiroshima, Japan. It will be rolling off of the Hiroshima, Japan assembly line. Out of assembly line in Hiroshima, Japan. That the Miata is still being manufactured at the same site where the new Ford Thunderbird is going to be built. That's the only exception. Is the difference is that the Ford Thunderbird is not going to be made in North America. It's not going to be made in the U.S. What's different is that a cheaper and lower Japanese yen might be like it'd be a good advantage to make the Ford Thunderbird in Japan than what it is that it would be great to be made in the U.S. if the Auto Alliance group would be like the Flat Rock with Mazda didn't just leave, and if you were there, then you were saying about the Thunderbird. Well, let's bring back the Thunderbird. Let's just have the Auto Alliance people have the Thunderbird be built in Flat Rock, Michigan, and then people have to go to Hiroshima, Japan to build the Thunderbird. And that's how it goes with globalization. The same thing is the only thing it says about Donald Trump, even though that's just what politics butts in, is that with the TPP or the Trans-Pacific Partnership, is that if you fields might have to vote yes, and this TPP or the Trans-Pacific Partnership might just have a good investment on developing, the Thunderbird. I have just designed it here, I just got it out of a Mazda Miata because it is based on the Mazda Miata, and then all these R&D and all these executives, and then to having sent to Hiroshima, Japan, and with this TPP or this Trans-Pacific Partnership being signed off and being voted yes, and then the yes means the return of the Thunderbird, like pretty soon by mid 2017 to around mid 2017, mid or late 2017, that the 2018 Thunderbird will be rolling off the assembly lines in Hiroshima, Japan, and will be exported to the United States. Well, Ford will import it. That's the 2% of the ownership of Mazda. Mazda will be making millions of Ford Thunderbirds, and they will exporting Ford Thunderbirds, or rebadged Mazda Miatas with this new technology called SkyActiv, or we call it EcoBoost Max or Ultimate EcoBoost technology. What in Mazda is called the SkyActiv, then it'll be a win-win situation. The thing is that people are against the TPP or the Trans-Pacific Partnership. For you people, is like you've seen about everything is what is wrong with TPP. If you are against the TPP, you are against the Ford Thunderbird bringing back. That means the tariffs means that it will help for Ford to bring back the Thunderbird. If not, how you gonna bring a car from Japan, and then what it would be? Yeah, but this TP voting yes on the TPP, or will be in favor of the TPP of the Thunderbird fans and the people that watching, and even though I'm posting to the bring back the Thunderbird, is that the Trans-Pacific Treaty will help the people in Dearborn, Michigan would go to Hiroshima, Japan, set everything up, and then the first Ford Thunderbird will be rolling off of the assembly line by early 2018 or mid or late 2017 for the 2018 model year at the Hiroshima plant in Hiroshima, Japan. So that's what it would end up the Thunderbird being to be. They're gonna end up being made in Japan, but at least the Ford Mustang will still be built in the United States. As you said, you still be built. That means that jobs ain't going to lose, even though that's just an exception. But jobs ain't going to be loose in the United States just because the Thunderbird is being manufactured in Japan. That would be this win-win situation will be great for the Japanese economy with this Trans-Pacific Partnership, great for the U.S. economy, that since then, other U.S. companies has been set off of making this Isuzus with Chevrolet emblems and these treaties that like they have a Japanese car manufacturer to make a car for that U.S. manufacturer and export it. Now this Ford's turn with this TPP thing. You don't have to pay tariffs like back in the past. And then you bring the Thunderbird all the way from Japan. And then this is just the only exception. The only exception is that, it's like people going on against the Trans-Pacific Treaty and protesting against the Trans-Pacific Treaty. That will be like in Dearborn, Michigan, that they have the voting yes on the TPP. That is just to have you in there to say the CEO of the Ford Motor Company, Mark Fields, Mr. Fields, having there of the voting yes on the TPP on November. That means bringing back the Thunderbird. All the paperwork will be done. Then the factory in Hiroshima, Japan will make the Thunderbird and they roll off of the Hiroshima, Japan assembly line. That's the only difference that people would want. Other than that, it's just, I am proud that my dad used to work there they used to make the Thunderbirds back in the U.S. and during the 1950s and there at a New Jersey assembly plant, but then that one is closed in the early 80s, and then when they still make the Thunderbird in the U.S., but now it's not going to be made in the U.S. That's the only exception in there. It is just based on the Mazda Miata. Just you have 2%, 2.1% of ownership of Mazda. That means Mazda will make the Ford Thunderbird, and then that would be like this. Would be back then would be like the Thunderbird sibling car has been the Cougar. Now the new Thunderbird, the 2018 version, the sibling of this Thunderbird would be the Fiat Spider 124 Spider and the Mazda Miata, because all these three cars would be made at the same factory in Hiroshima, Japan. And that's the only exception in there. The rest of them, the Mustang, the F-150, and all the other models will still be built here in the United States. The only car that is not built in North America would be the Ford Thunderbird, the only one sold in the U.S. to be manufactured in the Pacific Rim. It's thanks to the Trans-Pacific Treaty. The Trans-Pacific Treaty and Ford would be settled up that this partnership or this thing, like more likely, this is a whole different story. That's not gonna be like a Mazda 6 being built in the U.S. Will be more like a Ford Thunderbird being built in Japan, and all the sorts to see that the similarities of the Mazda Miata, and you look at the Miata, and then you have the Ford Thunderbird emblem, and then everything with Ford, and then the only difference is that is going to be a Ford Thunderbird based on a Mazda Miata car, and then it will be manufactured in Japan and exported to the United States. It's like for the people in there, even though I'm gonna post it, thanks, and I like your page, bring back the Thunderbird people, and then this is gonna be it. I might just have signed up to bring back the Thunderbird of a petition, but because this petition will be off as long as the Trans-Pacific Treaty, the Trans-Pacific Partnership has been successfully signed in and is working and is going to help bring back the Thunderbird, and by soon by soon by soon the summer, around mid 2017, late 2017 or early 2018, the Thunderbird will be rolling off the assembly lines in Hiroshima, Japan. So thank you for everything. Thanks for watching this video, Mark Fields. And even though you are the CEO of the Ford Motor Company, this is what it is about the Trans-Pacific Partnership, because I have made the ideas of the JAFTA or the Japan Free Trade Agreement videos, but now this has been come true. The president had sent me a letter about the Trans-Pacific Partnership, and this Trans-Pacific Partnership will be the best idea for Ford and the best idea for the Thunderbird fans, seeing the Thunderbird again. That by the time the Trans-Pacific Partnership has been signed off and is going very well, that's just the only exception of one Ford vehicle being made in Asia or one Ford vehicle being made outside North America. That means it will also be good for the Australian market. It might just be selling the Ford Thunderbird in Australia, or in other parts where they wanted to sell the Thunderbird. That means the factory in Hiroshima, Japan, would set off to exporting the Thunderbird, and then to sell the Thunderbird even in its home, in its country of origin, in Japan. Like selling the Ford Thunderbird in Japan and being locally made in Japan, domestically made there, and for sales in Japan, it'll be like a win-win situation for both Ford and Mazda. Even though Ford has 2% ownership of Mazda, then it's a win-win situation, and I think you could just have it all. It's a great idea. That's just the only exception. The rest of the Ford vehicles being made in North America, especially here in the United States. The one exception of one car being made outside North America to be sold in North America will be the Ford Thunderbird. Thanks to the Trans-Pacific Partnership, it will be rolling off the assembly lines of Hiroshima, Japan pretty soon. So write me a comment, Mark Fields, or do something, if have this idea of the expression of the Ford, of bringing back the Ford Thunderbird, where and why, the reason to be manufactured, and when it's going to be rolling off the assembly lines in Hiroshima, Japan. So let's find out what it is. The Ford, bringing back the Ford Thunderbird and the Trans-Pacific Treaty, the TPP, will be great for the Ford Motor Company, as would it be ready to settle off in negotiations and start work in progress in Hiroshima, Japan, to bring all the Ford Thunderbirds out of the assembly line in Hiroshima, Japan, out of car plant in Hiroshima, Japan. So thanks and goodbye, and hope to see you soon, and hope for you people to buy the Thunderbird. It's not going to be made in America, it's going to be made in Japan. It will pretty soon be off the assembly lines in a factory in Hiroshima, Japan. Bye.